Hi everyone, this is Ari from Gaia Kingdom channel. This is a space for everyone seeking awareness, everyone who's looking at the spiritual development, really caring about the place we are all in, which is our Mother Earth, our Gaia. And I have a massive pleasure to have a wonderful guest with us, Björn Lundberg from Sweden. And today we're going to be talking and discussing very important matters. Björn is a person I met when I was on the premiere of the movie from Nassim Haramein. So we become friends over the time, and we decided that we're going to be bringing this together, trying to awaken others to these truths. Björn is a spiritual teacher, among many other things, such as yogi practitioner, body mastery practitioner. And today we're going to be talking about breaking the paradigm and getting into a new reality. So let me get back to him now. Björn, how are you? And good morning.
Morning. I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So Björn, tell us in a few sentences what is going on here.
Well, as everyone can see now, we live in the most critical and challenging time of human history and evolution. It is a breaking point. Like if you take your hands like this is the old way, the old paradigm, the old system that we brought into, and this is the new. And we live right now in this breaking point where we are about to lose the old and the new is coming in. And that is with higher consciousness, heart, and technologies that will totally revolutionize everything that we have known to this point. It's just that the old system and the elite that runs the old system, they don't want to let go.
No.
They are fighting to keep their positions in power by force.
Mm-hmm.
But it's breaking down. We can see it in so many, in every sector.
Yeah.
And what this elite has done is that they have held back amazing technologies and amazing knowledge and wisdom for humanity for so long, many generations. We already have technologies they know about and the wisdom to take us to a whole new level on this planet, and we have had that in place for a long time.
Right.
It's just that it's not there yet, but we are right now living. We are the ones that are here to help this shift happen. And we will be the first generation that will actually see it come through.
Oh, absolutely. And I think what you mentioned apart from the technology is also the fact that I suppose on the personal level, we are starting to awaken internally, and we become coherent between our mind, which is being programmed, and our hearts, which always have been. Well, I guess we can say that many of the programming from the civilization comes down to close our good hearts, our empathy. So we become like a robot machine kind of type of people who are only capable of working hard and 9 to 5 and, not minding all the wrong that is being happening. It's just about, entertainment, easy lifestyle, consumerism. And many of us just don't like it. We just really feel like there's so much more to this world and to the living. So we become coherent between our mind and our heart. So I guess, we also are this type of, I would say, almost technology, which is going through the evolution. And I guess the new paradigm would be something like, yes, we are making a brave step towards the evolution of the humankind. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, and to strengthen what you said there is actually the new paradigm is already here.
Yeah.
You know, it's an internal shift, like you said. Once we open our heart and we connect heart and mind connection with the body, we can actually, it's about raising our vibration, to raise our energy, raise our awareness. And it's a lot to take in if you're new to this. If you're not, if you're already on the spiritual path, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
However, I think it's good to know, where are we heading? What's the goal with all of this? Well, the goal with all of this is that humanity is about to become a type 1 civilization, right?
Yeah.
A type 1 civilization is a civilization who live on a planet and they live in peace and harmony with themselves and each other. They live in peace and harmony with all the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
And third, they live in peace and harmony with the earth, the planet itself.
Yeah.
So we take care of each other and our, right?
Yes.
Very simple.
Yes.
And with that comes technologies that totally will make a whole new system on this planet. Free energy, everything that you can imagine when you talk about making heaven on earth. Yeah. That's included there. Gaia Kingdom, paradise, you know, whatever you want to talk about for naming it, but it's the new paradigm where we will make abundance for everyone, and where all our skills, all our talents, we are like pieces of a big puzzle, all of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just need to find our right place in society, and everybody will feel fantastic, right?
Yeah.
But right now we're in a schooling system that doesn't care about our talents, you know.
Absolutely.
Fortunately, many of us, we find that later on. Yeah. So to summarize that is that right now we're about 10 to 20% that already made the shift to become vegans, right? Yeah. We leave eating animals, and it's for two reasons. One is the heart that has opened, and you understand how horrible this practice is, to have slaughterhouses, and we need to kill other beings to be alive ourselves. It's insane, you know. That's an old program that has become a norm, right? So that is one reason. The second reason is that when you go on a vegan diet and you feel how you feel, and you feel how your body feels, yes, you will notice that you're gonna feel better.
Absolutely.
Everything becomes better. Your health, your fitness, everything becomes better, because there is a scale from the lowest vibrations, right, to the highest vibrations. And right now, most of humanity, we eat the lowest vibrations.
Yeah.
So we just bump that up and we become great at eating the highest vibrations, food, and right? That is a huge shift. Yeah. So that is already happening, and many have already made that shift, and many more are doing it every year. So it's happening. And then, of course, to open your empathy for animals, same there. It's also happening. You know, we are so aware today. So it's actually. And then the third, of course, you know, the planet itself, all the plastic in the oceans and all the pollutions, and how we take care, how short-sighted we think, you know, that we don't think long-term, we shift into. So all these things are coming, you know, into the light right now. And so many brilliant minds and pioneers and organizations are working on solutions that are far beyond what is in the media and in the political structure right now. So it's happening.
It is happening. We can see this globally, but you see, at the same time, what I'm thinking is, and I will take this moment, the chance to explain why we, I think, should not call our planet Earth, but rather we should call it Gaia. And it's to do with the actual connection between us and home. Because when we talk about Earth, we only subliminally think about one force of nature, which is earth, obviously. But there's 4 forces of nature. There's earth, fire, water, and wind. And there's the 5th element, which connects this all. That's the spirit, that's the love, that's the bonding. So in my understanding, and it's pretty simple, really, like you do not need so much of an attention of media, coverage of legislation for punishing people for not throwing the rubbish into the ocean or not, doing any toxic waste to the forest. Because once you do catch this spiritual love connection with the home, you actually care about it. Simple as that. You don't need to create any legislation, any laws on top of that. It's the same thing like I become friend to you. I do no harm to you, obviously, because you're my friend. I really care for you. I make sure that you're happy. Same goes for everyone I love, right? So it's really that simple. We really need to excavate the fact that we need to treat this as home. And when we look at it just from that 3D perspective, yeah, this is Earth. What does it tell us? It's not that. Where's the wind? Where's the oceans? What are we doing to the oceans? Come on. The reef, the coral reef is dying. So that's why we call it Gaia Kingdom, because in the end of the day, it's not only about the forces of nature. It's also about the kingdoms of other animals, mushrooms, all the plants. They have their own consciousness. Their spirit plants, their teacher plants, the plants we love to grow and to eat them. There are plants that we love to admire because they're so beautiful. There's all sorts of abundance there. And we just seem that we have lost that. So that's why we really, really need to get back on the connection with this. So Bjorn, let me ask you this thing, because I'm looking at what are the next steps that we ought to do. And some of the people would actually say, well, we need to become rebels. We need to go against governments. We need to punish some people for doing all the harm. Others say, well, we need to meditate, we need to hug trees, we need to just integrate, and there's only love as a pathway. Now, obviously, these are the 2 contradictory directions. Where do you think is the balance? What is the ratio of how much do we actually go and fight, and how much of it is actually being a conscious rebel and becoming that, in the balance between those 2 energies?
All right. Boy, that was a big question. So I think when we listen to ourselves, we all have a calling, a passion, something that drives us, something that just makes us make the decisions that we do. And depending on who you are, if you are a person who already have awoken spiritually, you tend to be much more gentle with yourself and others in life. So you're not the protesters who use violence. Mm-hmm. But if you haven't woken up to your spiritual side yet, there is a lot of anger in a lot of people around the planet. And we have all seen, the revolution of Gandhi, and in South Africa, Nelson Mandela. And, these are great teachers of how to use non-violence in mass protests to get, their vision and mission come to pass. Because we are going against the military might and the police might, the political might, the bank structure, the oil company. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We have no chance at all in that fight. Nada. So it won't lead to any good place to use, you know, the fight. We have to, like I said, listen and learn from the great teachers before us to do it in a wise way, you know, and that can take place in many different forms. So I think what it comes down to is, of course, to look in our own personal lives on our daily choices, where we start to make shifts in ourselves in our daily lives. And then we inspire our friends and family to follow along because it's good, it's right, it's the next step in our evolution. But not to force anybody, because then it just become reversed, you know.
Yeah.
It will never be good. Everybody who awakens have already tried to awaken their family and friends.
Oh, yeah.
And the pushback that happens, it doesn't happen that way. So everybody needs to come on their own pace, you know, when they're ready. Yeah, and to summarize that question is, if we just follow our calling, you know, we each have an area which we are extra passionate about.
Yes.
So go into that area and do what you can to make a difference.
Yeah, yeah, perfectly said. So it's aligning with your higher purpose, the divine purpose, because it's all, we all have it. We just don't all understand we do. That's the thing. And I guess it's very important to say that you don't try to awaken others by force, only by example. So they are inspired by your action and they will just ask themselves their questions. Well, and then they will decide. And it's a perfectly fine, because that's the natural order of things. And as you said, I've been through this. I've been trying to awaken others like passionately. It's no good. It's not no use. Yeah, but I think
just to point out, then again, it's good to sow some seeds.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it won't sprout immediately.
Yeah. Well, if the seed touches the fertile ground, it will naturally pop out, right? So it's all about readiness. If somebody is ready for this, they will come along. And the people are like, I would almost I always use this metaphor of popcorn. Like we are like seeds of the popcorn. Like you've been one of the first one to go pop, and I'm just following pop. And then we're looking around like, yeah, the others are coming. And you know what happens when, like, before you watch TV and you're making yourself a popcorn and all of a sudden it goes, So that's the times we're now. And it's so fascinating. It's so exciting.
Yeah. That's a very good metaphor for the time.
Yeah. So, but there's still so many of us that are still trapped in a fear trap. And I think we need to have this for them as well, to explain that the fear is false evidence appearing real. That's how they say what it is. And I guess it makes sense to explain that there's so much to do with our belief system and how we've been structured to think. There's so much of, propaganda which have been programmed into our minds. I would almost say it's like in the movie Matrix, we've been uploaded with all this not serving us paradigms, not serving us programs, which are limiting us in so many ways that we are becoming so trapped. And I'm not saying we, but many of us, because we're not our minds. We are so much more. Our consciousness is so vast. If you would like to follow with our channel, with what Bjorn has got to say about this, you will start understand. There's so many scientists and teachers around the globe now explaining that, you know, there's much more to us than just the mind. There's a lot of knowledge and wisdom in our cellular memory in our hearts, and that this is the energy that needs to be awakened to change our belief systems internally. And that's a great step to take. And I really encourage everyone to try to go into this path, because the fear becomes a bit more controllable. It doesn't stop to exist. That's not what I'm trying to say. What it does, it's really becomes something you can really overtake and start doing things that you always thought that you are here to do. And what I wanted to mention as well, we are actually going to be having a wonderful fair event on the 3rd of November 2019. Now, this interview is going to be kept on YouTube for, I hope, many years, but we still, for those of you who are watching this in October, or early November, please come on the 3rd of November, because Bjorn is going to be our guest, and he's going to be giving a great lecture about breaking the paradigm, and also he's going to be giving us a wonderful journey through experience with body mastery, because apart from being a wonderful mentor, Bjorn is actually also very actively engaged into a new type of exercises called body mastery, that combines our spirit, our mind, and our bodies. And this is something I would like to you, Bjorn, to really take on for now and tell us about this, why it's important to work with our bodies.